Love is not something we find, it is something we become. Living life as art.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living Life as Art on Hazel Golden's YouTube channel. I'll be interviewing her about her oracle deck. We are now in the exhibition. This is the main card that started it all, Divine Union. So if you don't know, Hazel's oracle deck has been finished. It's out now for pre-orders on her website at www.thehazelgolden.com. And the oracle deck is about the journey of true love, surrendering to love to find divine union. And there's so much more to it than that. That's why we're interviewing Hazel, to get all the juicy stuff out of it. And we're focusing today on all of the books that are in the first journey, right? And these books are, I'm gonna put them on screen, and I've actually filmed part of the journey in the exhibition to show you a little bit. But you should really come down here to see it. It's fantastic. But these books are part of the goddess wheel, right?
That's right, yes. So first of all, you talk about books. So in the first video, which we were talking about the sacred nemesis, the first card of the deck, number 1, is the memory keeper. And this is about, it's like the Akashic records. We went into a bit in the last video. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. And so within the memory, it's like this storage unit, right? And because I'm a storyteller and performer, and because we have amazing stories to tell about our lives, when I started channeling the work for the Oracle, it became very clear that this part of the journey, of Journey 1, really felt like a chronicle. It was really like entering into the library, entering into the space where we receive the base teachings for us to enable us to take our own journey. And that's why it felt like a library space. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it does relate to the goddess wheel, because when you work with the wheel of the year, returning yourself to nature, remembering who you are through the archetypes of nature and the different energies and archetypal energies that come through that, which come through you as an embodiment, there's the teachings of those archetypal energies. Mm-hmm. And so I was only able to write the book for the Oracle deck when I started writing them as stories. I think you remember this. I was trying to write the Oracle book. I don't know, there was about 4 or 5 attempts of me trying to write the Oracle book, and then I gave up, and I had the Kickstarter program, and I was like, so much pressure to write the Oracle book. And then one day it just dropped in, it said, you need to write them as stories because they're books. And so in the Oracle book, which you get as part of the Oracle deck, they're written as stories. They're like little mini stories, but they're so rich that it gives a transmission for each of those archetypal energies that takes you around the goddess wheel, that takes you into that library, that helps you remember who you are. And together, that is the chronicle. That is the beginning, the chronicle of the Oracle. Brilliant,
thank you. So I'm Hazel's biggest fan and also her partner. And even though I've heard this story and I've watched her create it, I'm still absolutely 100% invested in it. And every time I speak to her about it, I learn more about it. I just find it fascinating because it teaches me how you work, how the feminine works, and how the seasons work through the feminine body, which on your journey showed itself on the inside and then on the outside. And that's what I find fascinating about that. But before I start asking you questions on that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a copy of Hazel's Oracle book so that I can open it up and see the names of the books, and then we'll dive in. 5 minutes later. So here it is. Here's the wonderful Oracle. I'll pass that to you. Okay. Beautiful design. Okay. Right. So, where are we? So I've got the book open here, and Journey 1 Part 2, Chronicle of the Oracle, and there are 8 cards. Card number 2, the Book of Death. 3, the Book of Life. The Book of Wonders. The Book of Light. The Book of Grace. The Book of Beyond. The Book of Creation, and the Book of Love. And there's a beautiful picture there of the goddess wheel, and Hazel has studied the sacred sexuality priestess training in Glastonbury, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what inspired you to work with the goddess wheel and make it as a part of your oracle.
Yes. So I think, this is one of the stories that the stories of origin that I always tell. And you'll get to experience it if you come here for yourself, is that when I was here before, I made a wish to help women understand what was preventing them from accessing their creativity, because that had happened to me. And I knew it wasn't about me becoming an art teacher, it was about life force, it was about something else. And that's when my path opened towards learning about sacred sexuality, about life force energy, and the devotion, one's own devotion to one's own path. And that's what, studying the goddess Rhiannon, Ellen of the Ways, this archetypal energy of leaving behind anything that doesn't serve love in order to find the true path of love.
Right.
And through the wheel of the year, applying that energy to every phase of the year.
Right, and I want to give people some background on what we mean when we talk about the goddess wheel. The goddess wheel is not something that's made up. It's essentially comes from a form of paganism, right? And what it does is it splits. It's very ancient. It splits up the seasons of the year into 8 seasons, right? Each one being 6 weeks long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have the winter solstice and the summer solstice, like dividing the year in half. And then you have the cross quarters. So you have the equinoxes where there's the balance.
Wow.
And then between that, you've got the cross section of the archetypal energies, which come alive in you as you're experiencing the transition from the solstice to an equinox.
Right.
You experience an archetypal energy like the maiden that helps you grow in making that transition between the solstice to the equinox, and the equinox to the solstice again, and so on and so on. So you have that cross section of the archetypal energies, which you will know as possibly the maiden, the lover, the mother, and the crone. And those are those energies.
Wow, okay. And as I've been observing and paying attention for the time that we've been working together for the past 5-6 years, I've noticed that on the inside, that shows, for example, your menstrual cycle of going through the letting go, the dying, coming into new energy and expression. And on the outside, because the seasons of nature, and Gaia is feminine herself, it shows through how the behavior and nature of the feminine is mirrored in nature. I find that absolutely fascinating, like especially autumn, where the leaves start to change colour and they start to let go, and then we go into winter, into the solstice, which is the deep dive into the dark, where all the leaves fall off and all the trees are bare, and then we come into new life and spring, and I've shown how that's been mirrored within and without, and that's what I think most of this journey is about, right?
Absolutely, it's the foundations for learning how you can evolve on your own journey, and being with the seasons more deeply than, oh, it's springtime now, oh, it's summertime now, oh, goodness me, thank goodness we got through winter. Like you come out of that and you come closer into that nature that is moving through you as a part of nature. Mm-hmm. And all the gifts of awakening, of wisdom, of evolutionary consciousness that happens when you start aligning yourself with that.
Right, alignment.
And as you get to know me, so it's about alignment, but also templates. I like templates. So in the Oracle, there's also one called template weaving. And this is also what, like, you're spiraling around the wheel of the year, but also where the spiral comes you back around a year. It's not like you get on you repeat from year on year. I mean, this is like the old reality. It's like, spiral. Oh my God, nothing's ever changing. I'm always doing the same thing. When you start spiraling through the wheels of the year, you're evolving because you're never the same. And so it's beautiful to look back at, wow, where was I this time last winter? And just for example, like for 12 years now or something, I've been spiraling, getting closer and closer to myself through this ancient way of living, humans living with nature just like animals do. I have noticed how much I've evolved and deepened and embodied those. So, for example, when New Year comes, I know that it's not really the New Year. New Year comes when the buds start, like this little life starts popping out of the ground again. 1st of January is really like zero time. Soul and time. It's that soul time, that space to really truly listen to yourself. And so all of that wisdom is in there. And these to me, they're like, it's like a chronicle. It's just ongoing depth that you can bring in more layers. You can bring in foraging. You can bring in paying attention to the elements, earth, wind, earth, air, fire, water. Paying attention to, if you're a woman, your menstrual cycle and how that, so you've got all these layers that you start building your template into. Right. And that's why when you come to the exhibition and you go through it, you then come to this spiral section, which we'll talk about next time. But I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm fascinated by this. I want to bring in the fact that for each of the spirals, each of the wheel, there's 8 of them, each book in this instance, there's a goddess, right? Why are those goddesses assigned? Who assigns those? Where does that come from?
So there's ancient Celtic traditions that go back through our lineages, but also you'll see it cross-culturally, that there's different energies, like Kali is a similar energy to Ceridwen, in winter time, where it's like things have to end, the truth needs to be seen, transformation needs to happen. And then when you come around to Beltane, for example, you've got Rhiannon, the Celtic goddess, who was refused to get married to the one that she was supposed to be getting married to. She got on her horse and said, no, I'm claiming my freedom, my sovereignty, I'm taking my journey, I'm going to find love. And that in a similar way is the same with Isis in Egypt. Also a goddess of sacred sexuality and love. She journeyed far and wide to reclaim the pieces of her lover and piece him back together again, this being part of the coding for embodiment, for divine union.
Right, Osiris,
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we start working with these different goddess energies, and actually I don't necessarily assign one particular goddess to a different energy, because this has no religion, no dogma, nothing other than how does it awaken through you. That's what I'm interested in. Right. Because what we've discovered as well is how does it awaken through you, because there's something more. Right. There's something more, and that's for a later video, but that's where the innate comes from. That's where the really deep, lost, innate wisdom that actually we're all searching for in a way, but we don't know when we start the journey. There's just that thing inside going, I know there's something more. and the answer's the call to that.
Yeah, the innate is fascinating, so stay tuned for further episodes when we actually get to that part of the oracle. So I wanted to understand in the book, so we move on to the first book, which is the Book of Death. So you move from saying yes to the journey in not book one, in card one, and you're taking a new journey, but you start with death. What is that? Is that about the death of the ego? It's to do with the crone archetype, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's Samhain, right. Which is also known as Halloween, right?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, may as well start with the most potent, the most potent place, because with the sacred nemesis, we introduce that, which is basically confronting yourself and saying, oh my goodness, my shadow is guiding me, how do I work with this? Number one is the memory keeper, which says, are you willing to remember who you are? And card number two is then, well, if you want to remember who you are, you're actually going to have to give up who you created yourself to be. So you need to learn how to transform, need to learn how to let go, surrender, and those teachings of how to transmute your ego, your shadow, into something else. But you don't know what that's going to be yet. Because if you're controlling who you think you're going to become, you're just facilitating another part of your ego. So beginning with the Book of Death is really learning how to die.
Right.
Ego death.
Wow.
You know, you may have heard the phrase, die before you die. You know, die so that you can actually live in this lifetime.
Right, so you need to die before you can live.
Yeah.
But it's a spiritual death, not a physical one.
Absolutely every time.
Right, so should we move on to the next one a little bit on card number 3? We go straight from death to life, the Book of Life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's the winter solstice?
Yes, yeah. So that for me is really the energy of pure, like the purest, pure, innocent energy of your soul that comes in. And that's also why it's so important with the soul prophecy, is because listening to that soul, that innocent soul, that's what guides who you become, who you are truly. And that's what guides life and creation and living the path from love. So learning how to listen to your soul and the innocent frequency of that, the purity of that, is absolutely crucial to life, true life.
Okay. And I noticed that you use specific colours for each book. In the Book of Death, it's black and gold, and there was some orange in that previously, which is a bit like Samhain. But in the Book of Life, you use red and white. What do those colours symbolise?
Well, many things. When I have the first workbook out for this journey called I Am Divine, you can actually colour them in any colours. You can follow various different themes. But the last time that I took my own course, after 4 years in a row for my own healing, they wanted me to do them in the sequence of the rainbow, the sequence of the chakras.
Wow.
And it was like life coming back again from the root upwards. So the red coming back in, the life coming back in, and so forth. And it was like growing after the death, growing again. Right. And so it's like a precursor to Journey 4, where the rainbow body starts coming in.
Right, okay.
So it bridges in a way the first teachings of not only, going through the triple goddess energies of the red, black and white, but it also sort of gives little gifts of what is much further down the line.
Right, so what comes up for me when listening to that, it's like, because that's winter time where there's not much sun, there's a lot of rain, it's very cold, but beneath the soil the seed is germinating, it's growing, yeah. So is that the energy of life that you're talking about?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
And you might think, well, you're talking about the soul and the soul comes in, but this is exactly it. And this is why my work is about embodiment, because it goes beyond transcendence without embodiment. It goes beyond spiritual bypass. So everything is encoded to like get you in the body to make you take your journey, so that you can finally take your journey embodied and live this soul in this life. So you might say, well, you're talking about the soul coming in the soul time in winter, but you've got the red, which is like coming up from the earth. That's exactly it.
Right.
I'm showing you energetically how to meet yourself every time, through every season.
Right, so you're going through the goddess wheel, and I noticed that you have, is it card number 12, the seed card?
Yes.
Yeah, so I notice you go through the spirals of cleansing, and then you plant the seed, which is like the manifestation of the new you and your dreams, which, you know, for you is this oracle, right?
Yes.
And this exhibition, this is one of the seeds that you planted, and it's come true. So this
Yeah.
is like your prophecy coming true.
Ah! The prophecy. Yeah.
All right, so now we move into, correct me if I'm wrong, Spring, the Book of Wonders. Is that right? Which is about innocence.
It's about the innocence, and it's about, perhaps, you know, when we first start, it's about learning that wonder of life,
Right.
and that magic of seeing things like for the first time.
Like people, the people that mistake everyday life for the mundane, like going outside and hearing the wind go through the leaves, that kind of things.
Yeah. And I remember, like, you know, when I used to live down here by the sea, people would be like, oh yeah, you know, I don't go down there anymore. I'm sort of quite, you know, bored of seeing it. And I'm like, I'm never bored. Like, it's different every day. And I'm just so naturally full of wonder, I think. And it's this energy of adventure, and everything's new, and what more can we discover? And innocence, you know, I've always kept innocence close to my heart. It's that, from that, you know, card number 3, which is about the innocence coming in, it's about that expression of innocence to start discovering and being in wonder with life, which is where that seed grows and love grows through that wonder.
Right. So as you're talking again, I'm reflecting everything back to you that you're saying, and it's really profound, because I link this to the spirit of the kingfisher, which is about solitude and wonderment. And I find that, I think when I look at the Book of Wonders, you have the young lady on the front, which you've told me relates back to your childhood, where you spent a lot of time on your own creating in your bedroom. And to me, it's like solitude brings that wonderment of self-love of life. Yeah? Is that pretty on target? Yeah?
Yeah. Really, like, deep self-love, really, from the core.
Yeah.
And your love in your journey, for your journey in life, not nobody else's.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the time where, as well, you know, childhood healing can come in. Working with your inner child, that kind of thing. It's a very powerful time of year for healing.
And we both, in our individual work, we talk about the journey back to innocence, and it feels like this card, where you're coming out of death into life and into spring, and you're sprouting into this really gentle new innocence, and it's that innocence, like when we're children, where we're interested in all the tiny little things, like, what's this, why does this work, and all of that thing. That's what I get from that.
Yeah
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next season? Is In Bulk, the Book of Light, is that right? Or was In Bulk the one before?
It was the one before.
Okay, so what's the one after In Bulk?
So this is Ostara.
Ostara, okay.
Season of fire and the new beginnings.
And so is that also known as the spring equinox?
Yes.
Right, so each book is for a certain time of year. So the previous one was the Book of Wonders, which was from the 1st of February to the 21st of March. And this one is from the 21st of March, spring equinox, until the 1st of May.
That's right.
Right, okay.
It's got all the details in there.
Oh,
so,
brilliant. Okay,
yeah.
I haven't looked at that. Okay, the Book of Light.
So the Book of Light is book number 5, and that's, so it's associated with the spring equinox, and that's really when we start experiencing this new light that comes in, which starts coming in more and more. The sunshine comes in, so that the buds and the leaves can start opening through the trees, but also, how does that happen through us? How does that fire come through us? How do you feel yourself awakening after winter time, and where that light comes in. And how well did you guard your sacred fire, the hearth of your heart, over that winter period? And how did you cultivate that so that you can feel that sacred flame alive again at this time of year?
Right, okay, wow.
So I always invite deeper. Like I said, it's about embodiment.
Yeah, it's blowing me away. I'm like, whoa, okay. And so the Book of Grace now, so is that the season that we're in at the moment?
That's right, yeah. Yes.
Which is the goddess Rhiannon and Beltane. This is about the lovers, right?
That's right, yeah. Part of it is about the lovers and union, yes.
Okay.
I think that's very idealistic, because there's this energy of fertility. And, you know, we see that with like the rabbits and the animals and the birds and everybody making love at, at this time of year. It's also within our bodies that we feel much more fertile and alive and awake. In the menstrual cycle of the woman, she's also in that fertility time of life as well, young woman. So there's all that new life energy that's exciting at this time of year, full of possibilities. But what I always say to people is cultivate your own sacred fire. Don't give it away too quickly. Take your journey.
Right, and this shows up in relationships, right? Because I wanted to link how, because this is an oracle deck, right? And it's showing you've taken this incredible journey of self-healing, and like you said, you took your own medicine and you journeyed with this. You journeyed with the oracle essentially. Every time you drew one, you journeyed with it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I love how you're linking each card to how that works on the inside and how that works on the outside. But I'm really intrigued, because we were just talking about the lovers. How is this affect relating in relationships or with the self?
Well, that is a massive story. We'll dive in more deeply on this episode on the podcast. But gosh. Well, let's just say, I'll give you an example. When women have followed me on my training, I warn them up front, right from the beginning. When we come to this time of year, you're going to feel like you want to find a partner. If you're single, and if you're going through challenges in your relationship, when you're on your soul journey, what is not love is going to be shown up.
Wow. This is what I wanted you to touch on, because, right, I know I'm asking a lot, and there's a lot of information I know, but I just find this really interesting, because what you told me before about this cycle is that when you're working on one part of the goddess wheel, sort of the opposite on the wheel is also being mirrored to you, right? So you're talking about spring, where people are looking for new partners, but in autumn people are letting go, aren't they? Which means the relationships end, and people aren't often aware of that, do they? And relationships start to rock a bit. Is that right?
Yeah. And this is one of the things that we've worked through, we're like really mastering this in our relationship. It's like, oh, autumn's coming, I feel separation energy, the leaves are falling off the trees, I feel this separation energy, but we know it's not us, it's just that which wants to leave our bodies, that has to be shed and let go of, so that we can continue our journey of love more deeply. And that is perhaps why I called this card the Book of Grace, because we honour love and we honour the path of love with graciousness. We do not dishonour the path of love or cast any illusions of what we think love should be, and we take the journey to really discover what it is. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what I bring to the table with us, and that's what I share with the women who work with me.
Yeah, and I bring in my own visions of what it means for me, so that men can see how your oracle deck can help change them as well. Because when you talk about letting go and that energy of separation, for me it didn't necessarily show up in a relationship, it showed up in my work. Like I'd be writing my book and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I found it really difficult because I wanted to abandon it, because that was my wound, my feminine wound of being abandoned, right? Which essentially is I know we've jumped ahead to like autumn, but in autumn the leaves let go, and in the menstrual cycle of the woman, she's letting go. And so the man's like, well, I'll let go too then. I'll let go of everything.
It's over!
I'm done. And that's what creates arguments and all sorts.
Yeah. And this is like, when you know that it's happening like this, you can become non-attached to what you think your relationship is, and you can actually move through it and evolve exponentially.
Exactly, yeah. Absolutely, right, brilliant, well done, that was amazing. I really found that really interesting. So let's move on to book 7, the Book of Beyond.
Yeah.
What's this about? Tell me more.
Well, in the Goddess Wheel, this is the element of water, and there's various different...
Summer solstice?
Summer solstice,
right.
Yeah. And we have, various Celtic goddesses, Domnu, all the goddesses of the water, mermaid energy, all of that comes up at this time of year.
Okay.
For me, I love the mirroring of the soul energy at the winter solstice and the water energy, which is the water embodied. Water touches the earth, is part of the earth, and that reflection of that consciousness, as above, so below. The soul consciousness with the winter solstice, and the summer consciousness in that vast, expansive consciousness of water itself.
Inside.
And the water inside our body.
Yeah.
So the consciousness of that water through us.
Yeah.
And how we can expand that consciousness as well. Also, the flowers are in full bloom. Flowers and plants, they're full of water as well. Wow. They're all in full bloom, open, roses. At the moment, it's like, boom, open. Yeah. People are outdoors a lot more. There's more sunlight. So it's that wide, expansive, open energy. And when we look at it again on many layers, I mean, look at where I am at right now, that we're coming into that season. I've opened the oracle. It's like, boom, it's bloomed, it's out, I've come out, I'm talking on camera, I'm talking about the work. That is the energy. And it's how wide can you expand your consciousness just like the water, and all of that magic that goes through the water.
And the party.
Yeah.
The party.
Yeah.
Party time. We're having an art party.
Yeah, we're having an art party in the summer solstice season.
In here in the exhibition in Poole, the lighthouse in Poole.
So if you want to join us, get involved.
Yeah.
So
right.
the last thing I want to say about that is that it's also an invitation, because it mirrors the soul work of the winter solstice. It can often be quite a challenging time for people, because it's like, oh, everything, there's so much. But this is the time, to also realise this is to dive deep. Take a journey, go get the pearls at the bottom of the ocean, learn how to navigate your emotions. That's also part of this time. When I'm teaching women, I also like to call this the truth navigator, because it's that sword of truth, the lady of the lake who rises through the water. It's that pearl that we find at the bottom of the ocean with the siren who sings her songs. This is time for truth.
Right. I also see how the light of the summer solstice, it's fascinating how this works on the inside and the out, but the light, there's so much light from the sun that it shines through the skin and it highlights the darkness, and that's another metaphysical metaphor for highlighting the stuff that you
don't want to see.
Yeah, and I grew up in Bournemouth, and that means men start driving fast in their cars and turning their stereo up, and there's often a lot of alcohol and stuff like that. And I find that's the season where people need. It's another soul time, like you said. It's mirrored from around the winter solstice area, which is about going inside. But What is that energy in summer that brings all of that out? Is it just the highlighting, or is it something else?
It's the alchemical energy. So we at Ostara with the light, we had the fire coming in.
Right, yeah.
And now we've got the water.
Yeah.
And there's that, when we had the Beltane, we have the alchemy of that.
Right.
But if you don't know this is happening, you're just going to think, oh my God, I'm full of energy. Let's go and party. Let's have loads of women or men, barbecues, alcohol, whatever it is.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have no idea actually consciously how it's working through you.
Right. Wow.
At least that's what I've grown out of. And I witness that's what happens in our society.
Yeah,
Let's
I've been
put it
paying
that way.
attention for a number of years, observing how it shows in the collective, right, and how it shows inside. And you keep observing that within yourself, and you create this wonderful wisdom. Okay, so there's two more, which it's like you saved the best for last, but number 8, book number 8, Book of Creation. What's this?
Yeah, so this comes, again, it's this cross-section, so we've got that energy of the mother now coming in, and this can be in many different ways. Often we think, oh well, that's mothering and giving birth to children, but actually for a woman who has never given birth, for me, I've really been harnessing, well, what exactly is that power of creation that we hold in our wombs that can be given to any aspect of creation in life? So it's really honouring that energy of creation that comes through nature. In the picture, she's got leaves, she's a garden, she is the flower, she is fertility, she is giving birth. She knows how to give birth, she knows how to be fertile, she knows how to mother and bring that abundance into life. So it's about that abundance, that big, loving, unconditional, abundant love of the mother creator. Very much goddess energy coming in here.
Right. So what comes up for me? I mean, this is the 1st of August until the autumn equinox, the Book of Creation, right? And I remember a couple of years ago, you and I were in this energy, which is very close to the letting go energy that we were talking about, of where relationships start to rock a bit. And it's called the Book of Creation. I found that you and I were full on creating, like writing our books, making videos, because that energy is quite intense, right? And when we create it, it kind of anchors us more into our bodies and into our purpose. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. The more you create, we can also make videos about that, the difference between true creation and destruction. Sometimes it's very difficult to distinguish when we're learning really the energy of creation. But it's that abundant creation. And it's also allowing the fruition to come in. So allowing compliments, allowing people to like your work, allowing people to buy the Oracle deck, allowing people to come and work with us, it's like all of that, allowing all of this beautiful abundance and sharing, that harvest time where there's this golden light that starts coming in. The summer is starting to shift energy into that golden energy rather than the beginning of summer, which is very sort of more green. And the harvest is coming, that abundance of love.
The harvest, that's very interesting. I spoke about this before. It's mentioned in the Book of Ra, and I think I was speaking about this before, about the Grim Reaper. He's got the sickle, and they're very interesting archetypes, because the harvest essentially is part of the ascension, right? And that leads on to the Book of Love, and that's pretty profound. I mean, you save the best for last. So what is the Book of Love, and how does all of this help us through the ascension process?
So for me, I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, like you go around the spiral, so when you start spiraling, you come to the Book of Love, but then you also come to the Book of Death.
Yeah.
So this love and death is also very close.
That's why the Grim Reaper's the harvest.
It's all starting to come in. It's like preparing. But the scythe really comes in with the crone, you know, like.
Yeah.
But the book of love is really, by the time you've gone round the wheel, you've come to another layer, hopefully, of self-love and understanding what love is. And here there's the sovereign energy, the queen, the earth, to be in love with yourself as Gaia, as the body of the goddess.
Yeah.
On a very deep, sort of profound layer, and rooting in the picture. She's got the earth between her legs, and she's like this green woman with the trees, and she's deeply rooted through all the layers of the earth. Right. And it's really about loving who you are as a soul that came in at the beginning of the year, and embodying that, and living as sovereign, living the gift of who you are in this life. Yeah. And that's the gift of earth, having a body.
Right. And I've just made a link to astrology, if we've got any astrology fans. So the book of creation, sorry, the book of love runs through Libra, right, which is about justice. And love is about justice, right? Divine union's about balancing the feather, which is the masculine heart, and the heart, which is the feminine balance of love, and coming together is justice, right? And then we move into Samhain, which is Scorpio, which is about death, essentially, right? So it really matches up, doesn't it?
Absolutely it does. This is why I talk about templates and layers, and this is why I talk about never becoming one method, never attaching to anything, because if you stop somewhere and you're like, oh yeah, I really love that, like that's what I do now, I am that, you're only at a plateau. There's always portals to go through, there's always layers, many layers, and I think that's what we're coming now into this era, is that we're bridging this ancient DNA technology that's always been with us. It's coming online, it's coming alive, it's living through us. I'm living testimony, you're living testimony. You can live this, you can awaken it, not just as a theory, but as a lived, embodied experience. Yeah. And this is why it's just so beautiful to, have all these different energies, cultures, layers that come in, so that finally, ultimately, you can remember who you truly are. Yeah,
and I've just got to open this page in your book, and you give like an energy portal of for this this archetype, sovereignty, and you talk about the direction of west and the element of earth, and you talk about the season, and it's called Mabon, and the moon cycle, days 25 to 28, which is amazing for women. I mean, this must be so useful for women who are trying to come into alignment with the moon and the cycles, right? And you give it a colour, violet.
Yes.
Incredible.
That's what she wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because by the time it's like this growing journey. Like, it depends, you can do different trainings that follow the wheel of the year. This is how it wanted to come through me on the last time that I did this journey. Right. That's why this colour sequence is like this.
And violet's the
so
crown.
Basically you've grown up. You've grown up, and you've opened up your sovereignty through following the colour series this way.
Okay, that's profound. Wow, that's amazing. She's been teaching me this for like 5 years, and I've just realised that. Right, and so then it leads us on to part 3 of Journey 1, which is called the Portal of Devotion. And you've got 3 cards which you've coloured in the deck, which are hanging up over there. But you also put 3 extra cards which are blank for people to colour in, right?
That's right.
And you've got card 10, the Virtuous Vow, 11, the Labyrinth Legacy, and 12, the Sacred Seed. Talk to us about that.
Why not? That's what we're here for. So
I'll put them up on screen.
Yeah, okay. I'll just sort of hold them in my hand as well, just to show. So part of my book, I Am Divine, it has all of these uncoloured, and I invite women to colour them in. So
show them to the screen.
Yeah. So When I coloured them in and put them as part of the oracle, there was part of me which was like, oh, I know that women really enjoyed taking that journey, and that's why the first workbook for the oracle is going to come out, the I Am Divine for Journey 1. Because the invitation is that you come out of Journey 1, you self-initiate by taking your own vows, your own journey, your own devotion, planting your own seed before you move on to Journey 2. And so there's an opportunity in the oracle that you can take a journey, an art journey with yourself, colour these in, and then you take these out of the oracle if you want to, and you put these in. So then it brings your energy into your oracle deck, and so that infuses your creative energy into the oracle deck and going forward. So I thought that was really nice.
Can we speak about the colours here? Because you've got a spiral over there in the exhibition with those exact same 3 colours, red, white and black.
Yes, so, well, we'll talk about this a bit more in Journey 2, but so these are the colours of the triple goddess, or, we spoke about the maiden, lover, mother, crone earlier, and these 3 colours are the energy of what is like the triple goddess, of the sacred feminine, and basically it's in alignment with the womb, wisdom, and the blood of the woman. So a woman a young maiden woman, she's not bleeding yet, so she's white energy. The crone energy, she's holding her blood, so and no longer bleeds. So and she's given it. It's like that's going back to the earth. It's going back to the earth in her body. So that's the black energy. It's the end, and in between that, there's the life. So between death and rebirth, you have life. So this is where women are bleeding from teenage through to the sexual energy coming in, life force energy, perhaps into motherhood, etc. So that's the time of the menstrual cycle. And so it continues, but it also represents life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth. There's ongoing cycles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talk into each card for us.
So the first one, Virtuous Vow, is this devotion to your journey and your greatness, and the vow to yourself and the virtuousness that you make this contract with you, with your soul, and that devotion to discover what's ahead of you, even though you don't know, and to discover that journey. And here you've got very much the sun, the moon and the stars, you've got the wings, you've got the earth, you've got Mother Earth, you've got all the elements, and the spiral going inwards, almost like giving it all to the wind and saying, I don't know, but let's do this. I vow to take my journey for me. It's like a sacred wedding vow almost to yourself and to the goddess within, inside, outside and beyond, and to live a virtuous life. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the invitation for card number 10.
It's a big invitation.
And then you can make the vow, but then it depends what you do with it. If you don't actually walk the path, it's just going to be flying words in the wind.
Right.
So this is why card 11 is, it's almost like this was the end, card 10, completion. 11 is the new beginnings. It's that master number which helps you say yes to your mastery.
And it's a labyrinth, right? And you've got one here in the exhibition.
Yep, made one in here in the exhibition. So this is about stepping in, step into the labyrinth, take the journey. There's only one way in, it leads to the core. When you get to the core, then you take the journey out.
The soul prophecy.
Yeah, that's right.
Your own soul prophecy.
To your own soul prophecy, yeah. And so you've got the Wheel of the Year here. I've put, again, templates. There's the Wheel of the Year, there's the traditional labyrinth in there, and there's the rose in there, because the wisdom of the rose awakens through you as you start taking your journey.
And what is the wisdom of the rose? Just, shallow bit of show and tell.
Well, it's very alluring, it has very strong connections to the sacred feminine, the true energy of the sacred feminine, the lost wisdom of sacred sexuality, and that awakening energy of love and lovers.
Right, so there's the wisdom of flowers.
Yes, yeah. And it's it's so big, the wisdom of the rose. I mean, I've journeyed with it for many years. And I always say to women, don't jump in and think you know what it is, because she'll surprise you.
Mysterious,
and so
that is mysterious.
That's wisdom for yourself. Don't jump in and think you know what you're doing on this journey. Let go and surprise yourself. So that's the legacy of the labyrinth, that you discover your own legacy, and you don't know when you start out. You've got to take the journey.
And I noticed that the labyrinth joins all the 8 cards, and it's got a spiral inwards. And I remember you said, is it after the crone card that it goes into the spiral and you come out into the winter solstice? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a dissolving, a death. Also like the butterfly, the caterpillar completely dissolves. It doesn't know what form it's going to come into.
Metamorphosis into the light. So death, light, rebirth, like you said.
Absolutely.
Right, okay, I'm joining all the dots now. Okay, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the last one before we go into journey 2 is the sacred seed, card number 12. Again, numerology does play a part in the oracle. So 1 + 2 is 3, and that is again an alchemical card, that when we're going beyond one, who I think I am, we come into union with other parts of ourselves, with another. We're actually alchemizing. When we plant a seed in the ground, we're alchemizing that seed with the fertile soil. It's alchemized with water, with sun, with fire, with earth. And then it can grow again, but we don't know what that's going to look like. So this is why it's the golden seed. Plant the golden seed. Maybe you don't even have words for it. Maybe it's just that resonance of wanting to live your golden life. And you plant that into the journey that you are going to embark on.
Right, and to me, the golden life is, what if you knew you could never fail? What would you ask for? What would you wish for, right? Yeah, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So we've finished talking now about the whole of Journey 1. So including the exhibition and your oracle deck and your own journey, what is Journey 1 for everyone out there?
It's an invitation to embark on discovering how your soul wishes to guide you and speak through you. Speak through you at different times of the year. Speak through you, through your yes to you, to discover who you truly are, and giving you some tools and guidance to put in your back pocket so that you can become your own greatest guide ultimately. Because there will come a time further along the line where things will happen in life, and you'll be very glad that you read those books and got that wisdom, because there may come a time when you're on your own and you have to have that strength inside you to continue.
Wow, okay, I'm glad I asked that question. That's really profound. I can see how taking the journey just once isn't really enough time to absorb and read every single book, like, so to speak, in that spiritual energy. And so going round again and again gives you more time to integrate that energy, right?
Absolutely, right. Absolutely.
Wow.
And this is why it's not a course. It's really, do you wish to live your soul in this life or not?
Right, so it's a choice of life or death.
Pretty much.
Awareness or ignorance.
Yeah, and learning how to decipher really what that frequency is, what that frequency of your soul actually is.
Wow.
And there's so many choices along the way.
Thank
So-
you. So much profound wisdom, so much we can learn from you, Hazel, and it's such an incredible oracle deck. Every time I pick it up, I'm learning something new. It's marvellous. Is there anything else you wanted to say about your oracle, the exhibition today?
I would just like to welcome you to come and visit and join us over these next few weeks in Lighthouse, in Poole. Come to the exhibition, leave a note in the visitors book, and if you fancy, join us at the art party on the 3rd of July, where we will have a select amount of guests and we will be inviting you to become part of the art that's here.
And my one piece of advice is take a breath before you come in and slow down, because there's some big energy in here.
Yeah.
Take your time. It's really, really marvellous.
Yeah. Oh, and pre-order the oracle via my website,
What's your website?
thehazelgolden.com.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to be sharing this with you. Thank you for asking me the questions.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Take
Have
care.
a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.